Let's Get Growing. It's Jo here, the educational gardener from Bulwell Forest Garden, and somehow we are at the end of April. I don't know how that happened, but remember those long days, and January was such a long, difficult month, and now time's flying past, because that's what it's like this time of year when you're a gardener. So we're going to start this week with your packs. Okay, so first in your packs you should have a thyme plant. Now thyme, it's a Mediterranean herb, it's a hardy perennial, but in order to grow it well it likes quite a lot of sun, so it doesn't like to be shaded by other plants. So I thought we could add this to our herb collections. So what we need to do is to check its root system to start with, to see if it needs potting on. And I know that these were potted up, they were propagated from some plants that are self-seeded in the medicinal garden, so that not very long ago, so that hasn't filled its pot yet, so it's fine for now. So we just need to keep it in a nice sunny spot. You can keep it outside, it's hardy, but make sure it gets quite a lot of sun. Then next up, you should have a dwarf sunflower. So these are really nice. They don't grow really tall, obviously, and often sometimes they're multi-headed, so you'll get a really nice sort of display and you don't have to bother caning them or supporting them, and they don't flop over. So what we're going to do with this again is to check its root system, and yeah, this one has filled its pot, because sunflowers grow really quickly, you can almost see them growing. So I've got the next size up pot, and I'm going to put about a third of a pot of the compost, and then I'm not going to disturb that because it doesn't need teasing out. I'm going to put my plant in the middle and then the compost, and I've got a nice peat-free compost back around it, and then I'd give that a water with a fine rose. And although it is really lovely and sunny today and it's quite hot inside this polytunnel, it was very cold last night, so I think it did go down to 0 degrees. So I would be keeping the sunflower, give it a little bit of protection because it's only a half-hardy annual. Okay, and then finally you should have some radish seeds. So these ones are called French breakfast. So they're not the little round ones, they're sort of longer, thinner ones. So what I've decided to try and do is to grow some in a pot, and I think we did do we did carrots last year in a pot, but I'm going to try and do radish because they did really well. So I've got lots of homegrown compost, homemade compost here, which is quite rough, but I think it'll be fine for radishes. But I'm going to put a top layer of peat-free compost, because that homemade compost might be quite a few weed seeds in there, so this might just keep them at bay until the radish have germinated. So then I'm going to take my seeds into the palm of my left hand, and then I'm going to use a finger and thumb of my right hand, because I'm right-handed, to sow the seeds, to pinch them. And so I'm just going to get about 3 seeds there, and I'm going to spread them out where I want them to grow. I'm not going to put them too thickly. I mean, I can pull a few out if there's too many, if it's overcrowded, but I won't be able to use them. I won't be able to transplant them, so I'm just going to spread quite thinly, and it'll save me a bit of work. So I've probably got between about 20 and 30 seeds in there. So I'm going to cover them up with a little bit of compost, press them down, water them with a fine rose, and then I will be putting these outside. I think But I will just want to show you some. We have grown a crop here in the polytunnel. So we've got, I think these ones are French breakfast. And these ones are, well, these are quite interesting ones. I think they're called bright lights. So that's the rounder shaped one, but we're going for the longer thin ones. And they grow really quickly, the radish. So that is this week's pack, and then we're just going to move along to look at some of the things that we grew in the last couple of packs. So these are my sunflowers. So these were a variety, so some of these were quite tall, and I'm suspecting that that was these ones here. So they've got quite a decent root system. There's a couple that haven't grown, and one's got like a bite mark, so something's eaten that. So these ones anyway, I did get sort of some to grow. There was only 2 that didn't. I'm going to put these into bigger pots. So I've gone for this size pot. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of compost in the bottom, put my sunflower in the middle, and then same principle as we did with the last sunflower, put my compost around it. So I'm just planting it with the loo roll tube because that will just rot away. I mean, you could hang on a bit and put these straight into the ground, but I probably would wait a little bit because it's still quite cold at night. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was the lettuce. So this we were growing as cut and come again. It's the variety salad bowl, if you remember. So there's red and green lettuce. There is some that I could show you over there that we've planted in the polytunnel. But this one, you could either leave it in the punnet and just cut it when it's about that tall, which I'm going to do some with, or I'm just going to show you how to prick them out if that's what you want to do. So I've got some modules, container with different compartments. So Roger's here, he's come to have a lesson, our resident Robin. So the important thing is to take them out and not to damage the root system. So I've got a little kind of fork kind of style dibber. So I'll take it out like this, and then I'm going to hold it with its leaves so its root system's intact. I've made a hole, put the lettuce in, and then press it down gently, and then just repeat the process. And I think the hardest part really is actually taking them out without damaging them. So I think what I am going to do is I'll do a tray, but I'll also leave some in here, so I'll have some of both sort of methods, with the aim of sort of probably planting these ones outdoors eventually when they get big enough. So again, it's just a case of separating them, holding them with their leaves, not their roots, put them into the hole, compost around them, and then pressing down. What do you reckon, Roger? Did I do a good job? So it's as simple as that. So yeah, have a go at pricking out, because you get better the more you practice it, and it's also quite therapeutic. We'll get Roger to work soon, maybe. It's a self-service diner. So all the other seeds that we had in the packs, in the last couple of packs, so we had some wild rocket, and you can see I was going to grow that in this pot. It's all germinated, so that's good. And then the basil, that's That's germinated. They're too small to handle yet, are these ones, because they haven't got what's called their true leaves. And so I'll be making sure I keep a fleece over these as well, because it is quite cold at night. And quite excitingly, my mini maker tomatoes have popped their heads up. I know we're a bit late with tomatoes this year, but that's just been how it is with the weather, really. And these are, yeah, everything's doing really nice from all the other packs. So the cornflower's starting to flower, and that was the hardy annuals that we put in the winter. The thyme plant, this is from last year, that one's starting to flower. I've got California poppy self-seeding from last year's packs in with my hollyhock. So yeah, it's all looking great, and it's yeah, a great time of year. Enjoy the spring. Okay, thanks very much for watching.